Hello everyone, this is Stephen Balch, your instructor for Principles of Marketing at Ozarka College. Today what I'd like to do is give you a little bit of feedback on the chapters 13 and 14 activities that I finished grading yesterday, and then remind you about the semester project that we have coming up due here pretty soon, and then also the chapters 15 and 16 activities, which are due early, well actually the first day of next week, which is Sunday, April 13th. So you've got a couple of days there, or a few days to work on that. So first thing is, like I said, chapters 13 and 14 activities, I finished grading those yesterday. If you have any questions about your grade or the grading comments, just let me know, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. Most of you did well on those activities, and like I always tell you, I really appreciate the time and effort that most of you are putting into that. So keep up the good work. Let's see. Let's go to the activities page in my Ozarka so I can remind you of a few things. You'll notice under week 14 of the semester, you have the semester project due. And so that's going to be coming up here in about 12 days from now. So at this point on the semester project, you should have that completed at this point, and you should just be kind of looking it over, reviewing it, and making some minor, adjustments where it's needed. But at this point, you really should have the project completed. If you haven't got it fully completed, definitely work on that in the next couple of days and get it done, because you don't want to try to wait till the last minute on this kind of a project, because it's called a semester project for a reason. It's meant to take the entire semester to work on. It's not something that you can just do in an hour or two. It's going to be, it's something that's going to take some time. So if you haven't got to the point where you're just about done with that project, then I would definitely take some time in the next few days to make sure you get to that point as soon as possible. And if you have questions as you're working on it, let me know, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. All right. Let's see. And then we've also, right now we're on week 12 of the semester, and we don't have anything due this week because we had work due late last week, okay? And so we've got, like I said, we don't have anything due this week, but we do have work due the first day of next week. So you should be working on the chapters 15 and 16 activities, which are due by Sunday, April 13th. And of course, today's the 10th, so you've still got, a few days to work on that and get it completed. But, if you want your weekend free this weekend, then you need to get this set of activities completed before the weekend. Don't wait until Sunday, because there'll probably be other things come up. Things that will come up that are you may feel are more important than your class, your coursework. So if you, like I said, if you have stuff going on this weekend, I would definitely work before the weekend to get that set of activities completed. All right, and let me very briefly talk about the things that will be covered in chapters 15 and 16. So starting with chapter 15, we're going to be looking at marketing communications. So in chapter 15, we're going to learn about the role of promotion in the marketing mix. Remember, the marketing mix, or the 4 P's of marketing that we've talked about all semester, include product, price, place, and promotion. And we've talked about most of those P's of marketing, most of the marketing mix elements so far. But in this chapter, we're going to look specifically at the promotional part of the marketing mix. And we're going to look at the various methods of marketing communication, the goals of promotion, the promotional mix, promotional goals. We'll also look at something that is very common in marketing, something called the AIDA concept, which stands for attention, interest, desire, and action, which are kind of the 4 things that, kind of the 4 processes that you want consumers to go through in order to make your communications, your marketing, promotion, and communications effective. And then also towards the end of chapter 15, you'll learn about integrated marketing communications. And then finally, at the very end, you'll learn about the product life cycle. Every product that's ever been invented and sold in the market goes through a kind of a fairly predictable cycle, from introduction to growth to maturity to decline. There's kind of a 4-step process there, kind of very similar to the life cycle of a human or of any kind of living creature. There is a cycle that the product goes through from the time that it's conceived of and created to the time that it actually declines and goes through all those stages of its life. Okay, so you'll learn about that in chapter 15. Then chapter 16, we'll learn about another part of promotion, the promotional element of the marketing mix. Part of that is advertising and public relations and sales promotion. So we'll learn about those parts of the promotional portion of the marketing mix. So in chapter 16, you're going to learn about the effects of advertising. You know, what we're trying to do when we advertise a good or a service as a marketer. Also, main types of advertising. There are all different types of advertising, and they each have a different purpose. You know, what we're trying to get from that advertising that we're doing. And then there are also different advertising appeals. You know, some advertising appeals to our economic situation. You know, good prices and so forth for good value for a product. Some of it appeals to our, you know, our hunger, or, you know, various things that we use to appeal to consumers through our advertising. So you'll learn about several of those. And then you'll also learn about media decisions in advertising. So not only do you have to come up with the basic advertising that you want to use to have the effect that you want in the market, but you also have to figure out which type of media, you know, whether it's radio or television or newspaper or billboard or electronic. You know, there are various advertising media that we can use to get our advertising to our target market. And so you'll learn about those and the advantages and disadvantages of using each one. And then towards the end of chapter 16, we'll learn about public relations and the tools for sales promotion. All right? So chapters 15 and 16, there's a lot there. So just make sure that you're working on those activities. You know, get started as soon as possible. And like I said, let me know if you have any questions. And that's really all I have for you for today. So be working on those. Be working on your semester project. And I will talk to you next time. Have a good weekend. Thank you.